My next guest is the host of the Pensive Politics podcast and wrote an article for Town Hall, our sister website. The left learns there are no limits to wokeism. Christian Watson, thanks for joining us.
How are you doing?
All right, so Vivek, I know that's part of our topic here. You say that Vivek might not have a lane directly into the White House, but he is really sort of influencing young people to look at being conservative.
Well, I think that he's definitely influencing young people, but I also believe that Vivek does have a lane into the White House, and that's not confirmed by conventional wisdom. Of course, there's a lot of pundits that are talking about him as if he's an afterthought, as if he's just somebody who will fade away, the flavor of the week. But I actually think that he is the second coming of a revival that our nation actually needs. A revival that takes America back to its original first principle foundations and kind of updates the way that we talk about politics and we discourse about certain issues. That's why I believe he's so special. The reason President Trump was able to come in and actually win the election back then and start this culture movement in America wasn't just because he was a bomb thrower and someone who made people mad. It was because he brought an element to the political system that had not been seen before. Vivek does that, but he does that in a way that is uniquely him, one that is rooted in philosophy, sound thinking, first principles, history, whereas Trump is the bull in the china shop. Vivek is like the sort of statesman who really gets it. And so I really think there's something special about him, and that not only should he inspire young people, he should inspire every single American who's fortunate enough to call our great land home.
I like Vivek, and it's the same thing I like about business people who are willing to kind of give up their, take a break from their running their business to go into politics. They're not lifelong political ladder climbers. So whether it was Steve Forbes or Herman Cain or Ross Perot, Trump, I even thought that way a little bit about Mitt Romney. I have a hard time saying that.
Oh, yes, me too.
Saying that now. And what I like about Vivek is he's not this kind of cartoon character like Andrew Yang was. Like Andrew Yang, he didn't seem like a bad guy, but it seemed like he was trying to be this like cool pop culture force in politics, not a serious policy advocate.
Exactly. Andrew Yang had all fluff, no substance. And that's one of the reasons why I definitely believe his campaign fell through. When your slogan is math, you don't really have a serious understanding of what's going on in our politics. But Vivek, he's actually, not only does he have an understanding, he's literally created policy briefs where he outlines what he's going to do, how he's going to do it, and when he's going to do it, and what the authority he has as president will allow him to be able to do those things. Most presidents go in and say, I'm going to repeal this or I'm going to replace this. But in all reality, that requires legislative branch. But the president can do basically almost whatever he wants under the auspices of the executive branch if it concerns solely the executive branch. And the president can reorganize, he can shift, he can abolish, he can do whatever he wants to his own office, which is why I think Vivek has advocated for abolishing the Department of Education, abolishing the corrupt and really un-American FBI and other agencies that really take away from the core of our republic. So I am really excited about this, about the Vivek movement. As a young person myself, as someone who I'm trying to sit in the same spot you sit in someday, Wilkow. Vivek inspires me to do that and do that well because it shows me that there's still a leader in this country that loves our country and that loves America enough to advocate for it.
Backstories they're nice. I don't think they're the most important component. If someone's got a really compelling backstory, but their policy ideas are horrible, then I don't really care about their backstory. But his backstory is interesting. When you talk about young people who are fed this line that if you are non-white, non-rich, non-native born, you have absolutely no chance at success in the United States, and along comes Vivek and says, I'm the kid of immigrants, I'm American of Indian descent, I'm not a Christian, and I made a pretty good amount of money at a pretty young age. In other words, his backstory is kind of a narrative buster.
Absolutely. In fact, the media understands this, which is why Daily Beast came out with an attack piece recently saying that Vivek Ramaswamy's entire success story has to do with affirmative action, because he received a scholarship that was for, children of immigrant parents, which is just so insulting. Because Vivek Ramaswamy, this is a guy that by age 37 started a multi-million-dollar biotech company called Roivant. He got 5 FDA-approved drugs, including one which actually helps extend the life of children who are born with a condition that in 70% of cases actually shortens their lifespan. His drug basically allows them to live a normal lifespan. This is someone who's lived the American dream in less than a generation, and we should celebrate that. We shouldn't decry that or denigrate that. That's something to really be inspired about.
It's also funny, when Howard Schultz was thinking about running for president, when they saw Donald Trump, they're like, well, maybe we need, a Howard Schultz. Pull the trigger, dude, right? Get in the race. How many people from the business community, mostly aligned with Democrats, at some point, I want to use the word threatened they would run for president, but then didn't actually do it. We also see this with Hollywood celebrities. All right. Get in the race. Get in front of the cameras. Get in front of the people. Get on the debate stage and show us what you got. If you did great in the business world, I want to hear from you.
100%. If you have actual managerial experience, then I want to hear from you. A lot of people are saying that Vivek does not have political experience. Most folks don't understand. Political experience does not translate to managerial experience unless you're a governor. Even then, I would prefer a businessman who has built multi-million-dollar companies and has actually achieved things than a governor who literally required a state legislator to be in lockstep with him for every single thing that he did. But still, managerial experience is what you need in government, because that then allows you to treat the government like a business. In other words, treat it like a machine that needs to be run and run well, and not the incompetent, inefficient mess that we have today.
All right, do you think his lane, what has to happen for his lane to open up? Does Trump have to drop out? Because right now Trump is so far ahead, I don't see who catches him unless something really bad happens to Trump. And then in the Pez dispenser, it's kind of DeSantis. So with about 45 seconds, what is Vivek's lane?
I think people are going to see the refreshing and young perspective that comes from Vivek Ramaswamy, and I think that people are going to go for that. It's still very early. We're still many months out from the first Iowa caucus. We're still many months out. We're a month or so out from the debate. I'm really waiting to see how this goes. I think that most Americans should wait to see how this goes as well.
All right. You don't think it's VP that he might be in a stronger position?
He's not that kind of. He has said that he doesn't like a second-hand position. I don't blame him. He's someone who needs to be in the front spot.
Lots of people say that, and then when they get the call, I mean, how many VPs were once, candidates themselves? I know it's an old saying, nobody runs for VP, but very few people say no.